my nervous system was like, what the hell is this? This is not what I was looking for. I'm gonna have to send it to you. It is awful.
Oh my God, they were roommates.
Welcome to the Roommates Couch Podcast. My name's Aaron.
And I'm Kelton. Welcome, everybody.
I've got kind of a long question for you to start it off. Would you rather have your fibula broken every year on January 2nd, and it's not on January 1st so that you're able to celebrate the new year and get back home or whatever you need to do? The method is a broken fibula by a 16-ounce anvil black rubber head mallet bought fresh from Home Depot that morning, so January 2nd, and it's wielded by a male arborist, which is like a lumberjack from Rhode Island. And every year it's a random guy that's selected to break it, so it's not the same guy every year. So the lumberjack has to hit you in the fibula until the bone breaks. In the case that the mallet snaps before the bone does, the lumberjack must use the broken pieces of the hammer to finish off the bone. So like either the stick or the rubber head. So the stopping point is when the fibula is broken, but if there's collateral damage to the other bones or tendons, you must continue until the fibula breaks. So if he misses and shatters all the bones in your foot, that's tough. You got to keep going. Beforehand, the lumberjack gets to watch a skeletal anatomy YouTube video on where the fibula is located so that he knows roughly where to hit, as well as there's a doctor on duty that can check the fibula if it's broken after each swing. And let's assume that the doctor can tell right away without the use of an x-ray machine or anything like that. The doctor cannot help you or fix you after it's broken, and each year you get to decide which ankle you want done, but it would be recommended to switch off every other year. The healing time for a broken fibula is 6 weeks to 3 months, somewhere in there, but it will increase with age and scar tissue development, your heal time gets longer the more that this goes on. This is done in the middle of an open field each year, and your car is a half mile away, so each year you have to crawl to your car and then drive yourself to a medical center for assistance. And you can't use a rideshare service to get to your car or to the medical center, so you just have to either crawl or hobble your way to your vehicle, drive yourself there with a broken ankle, and then get it taken care of. And every year, it's raining each time that you do this. So, would you rather have all of this or red hair?
Wow. Wow. What a question.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law is a redhead, and she is a big advocate for redhead lives. She wants that gene to carry on, and my answer would be broken fibula. Yeah. Definitely. Oh man, the more you described it, I was like, because like there's a lot of ways you could just justify. Like, okay, I could break, but it is so specific and it's so detailed that like the details surrounding it,
there's no getting out of it.
Almost make it worth it to be redheaded. Sorry, I'm like out of it this week. We've had a rough week in general. Chan got the flu, and it's been just terrible flu. She's had it for like 5 or 6 days of just like, well, she slept for 4 days, like legitimately, like she slept for 4 days, and so me and Hudson were just hanging out, and then she was coming out of it, and I got super sick, but I got a different type of sickness where I just threw up like crazy. And then Hudson got sick, of course, and so we've all just been like passing it around. But this weekend we decided to travel over to Wyoming. That's her parents live next to Jackson Hole, and we went over there and we had a good weekend. We moved them. They are moving into a house directly behind their house. So every time you move anyone, I hate moving.
It's an ordeal.
In my life, my church, my friends, my everything, I have moved too many people to count. It is at least once a month since I was born. I am going to a move and helping somebody move. And this was the most pleasant move I've ever done. And the reason why is because when you move somebody, it's their precious heirlooms and crap that they don't want broken. And they're moving 5 states across the country. And they're so nervous you're going to break everything. And so it's stressful for them, stressful for you. And 9 times out of 10, they haven't packed a single thing the way that it should be packed. And so it's just you throwing their random stuff that you don't know if is precious or not into a box and hoping and praying that it doesn't break. But this time, I had to move it 100 feet, so it was pretty good.
Nice and easy. We
yes.
When we bought this house, one of the benefits of working at the mortgage company that I was at is if you got your home loan through them, they threw in like a mover package. And so we had to pack everything, but like they had a company come out and like pack everything into the truck, drive it over to our new house, unpack it all for us, like put it in the rooms where it was supposed to go. And I am never, ever, ever moving again without a moving service. Like it's $300
Right.
and it is so nice to not have to touch a single thing. And like if they break something, that's insured, so like they just give you the cash value of it. Like it's crazy. And like you were saying, when I was on my mission, we helped this one family move in Grants Pass, Oregon, and she had this beautiful baby grand piano that was like $25,000. She was like a semi-professional musician, and she trusted like 5 19-year-old missionaries to pick up this 3,000-pound piano with these straps on our shoulders and like carry it out of a truck and set it up into their house. And it's just like, you should not have done, like there should have been a crane, there should have been like crews involved, like planning every detail of this. Like it would have been so easy for us to just ruin her life by dropping that piano.
Yeah, that's crazy. And everything and anything, like, I don't know how in every move, there's always one piece of furniture or item that I'm like, the house was built around this. Like, there's no way that you physically got this in here without having to, like, demolish a wall, rebuild it, and then have it in there. So, pianos are the bane of my existence. I hate moving pianos so bad. But luckily, my in-laws, they're not musicians, so no pianos this time around.
It's so funny. My parents built a house in Surprise, Arizona while I was out. And it was a beautiful house. They moved to Utah a couple years ago, so they're not there anymore. But they had this like an armoire, I think, in their room, and it was too big for the door. And so while the home was being built, they had movers bring it in through a window. And so when they were getting ready to move up to Utah, they had to have someone come and remove the window so that it could go back out. And it's like, just leave it. At this, like, if you have to take the window out, it's the house's now.
Yes, yeah. And the thing about furniture that's wild is like it just sits there in that room and you don't really think about it until you move. And then you're like, okay, now it's time to move. So my grandparents, when they all passed, my parents kind of inherited all of their furniture. And so we're like, as we were moving my grandma's furniture, what she did is she wrote essentially journal entries on the back of her furniture. And she was like, I was given this piece at this time by this individual. And she would like write all this type of stuff out. And so then it becomes priceless. You know, now it's this piece of family history. And all that family history got loaded into my parents' house. And now my parents' house smells like death. It is just like an old lady. Like, every time we open the door now, I'm just like, goodness, like we gotta get rid of this stuff. But I love it. I did I tell you I got my shirt? I did. Yeah, I sent you a
You
picture.
did, yeah.
I got my shirt and I love it. It's like it's the probably the comfiest shirt I have. So there's your plug for
Good.
people to go buy your merch.
Excellent.
But I didn't realize what the logo said.
Oh.
So it's like your mom's favorite streamer. I have actually a wardrobe problem because I have all these shirts and I'm like, I really hope no one comes and talks to me about my shirt. but now your shirt is like your mom's favorite streamer. That's what it says on it. And I'm just like, I'm waiting for someone to come up to me like, oh, you know my mom. And I'm like, no, don't.
Yes.
But I have this other shirt and it was like this sales incentive motivation piece that they did. And it was like war ready. And so it says war ready across the chest. And it's like, got this astronaut on it. And I'm like, I would hate for a veteran to see this shirt and just be like, oh,
Stolen
really?
valor.
Oh, war ready. Yeah. Like I probably overthink. I do overthink. No one's ever gonna come up to me and say that. But yeah, that shirt. Every time I put it on, I'm a little bit nervous. Somebody's gonna call me out on it.
That one was one of the first ones that I made, and I made that before I got laid off, so it was kind of like a small brain thing. And I was thinking it, I was like, you know, the only people that are really going to buy my merch at this point are friends, which means I guarantee I'm their mom's favorite streamer because their mom doesn't know anybody else. So, so I am 100% Kelton's mom's favorite streamer because I guarantee she doesn't know anybody. I'm it. This is me.
You're my only friend that streams, so by deduction, you are my mom's favorite streamer.
Yep.
Shout
So
out to Lisa.
It works.
Actually, you didn't go to the California trip, right?
I did not.
No, gosh, I wish that was a treat. There was a period of time where that roommate group, Brewer had just bought a GoPro, and I had like some recording device, and so we made some just gosh awful trip videos. And I came across them the other day, and I was like, I remember when I made this, I thought this was so sick.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking back, I'm like, this is so bad.
Okay, so you just reminded me of, I am physically recoiling right now because I was going through my email and like there was one email from like 2013 that I was looking for. Like I know that I sent this from this email account to someone. And so like it was like a picture or something like that. And so I was scrolling Get all the way down to the very bottom of my email. One of the first things I ever sent was right after I moved to North Carolina, and it was to one of my friends back home. And this was before, I think I was like a couple months before I joined Snapchat, because I joined Snapchat in 2013, and this was also in 2013, but it was like, this should have been a Snapchat thing, and it wasn't for some reason. But we like had like a singing battle over email. I watched a video this morning. I literally turned it on, and it's a picture. It's me sitting in front of the camera, and I start singing. Holy shit! Can I tell you that my butthole puckered so hard? I was like my nervous system was like, what the hell is this? This is not what I was looking for. I'm gonna have to send it to you. It is awful. I want to put it on TikTok so bad, but I do cringe TikToks. This is the worst thing I've ever been involved in. It was, I'm sweating thinking about it. Like, I watched not even 3 seconds, and I was like, it's so bad. It's so bad. I hate myself.
Oh my gosh. Dude, that's what's so scary about the digital age that we grew up in. Because I remember this was a couple years back, and I was just like, I want to go back to the very first thing I ever posted. And I just went all the way back, and I was like, same exact reaction of just like your body, just like, why? Like, it's just like the worst sinking feeling of like, I was the dumbest idiot
How did
ever.
I possibly think this was okay?
Yeah, and I spent days deleting everything I could possibly delete. I just went through and I was deleting, and I just know, like, that still exists somewhere on the server somewhere. Someone can access this. Someone saved it, like, and so it's like, I can't make it big because there is some embarrassing crap out there.
So this is an email that I sent to a friend. I reconnected with this friend not even 3 months ago. Like, we went out to dinner. We had a great time. She brought her daughter. She was my best friend all the way through high school, except for a short stint junior year. But she has it in her email. It's still the same email that she uses. If she scrolls back to 2013, she will find this video, and I'm gonna download it immediately after this. I'm gonna send it to ourselves using our email so that you can watch it. Tell me if you can make it through the whole thing, because it is. I hate myself.
I might live record myself. Not lie. I'll record myself so you get a good react. Yeah. We'll put it on here.
If it gets a good reaction, maybe I'll throw a clip in our next episode, or I'll upload it on TikTok or something, because it's so much.
That's like one of my big fears, is that like my daughter will grow up one day and she's like, oh, Dad, let's go do some digging. Like, let's go see. And I'm just like,
Casual Takes Podcast. What is that?
Yeah, that one automatically deleted itself. That's what's crazy. Yeah, it's like there's nothing left.
Yeah.
I was using a paid service, and I was really interested to see what would happen, because I was like, I'm not going to pay for this indefinitely for whatever this podcast is to live on. So I shut off the thing and downgraded to a free plan, thinking that at least it would preserve the episodes I paid for. Nope, just wiped the server, got rid of all of it.
Yeah, I was looking for them the other day, and because like I have like a little Instagram, I don't even know what they're called, like the memory things that stay on your page, and like you can go and click through and whatever. I have one that's linked as podcasts, so that I have like, if I do other episodes, because like there's another guy that I know that wants me on and featured on an episode on his, and like I was on yours, and then we have ours, and so I went to click on it and it's gone. Like the link technically works and it will take you to Spotify, but it takes you to the homepage of Spotify. That episode doesn't exist anymore.
It's crazy. That's another thing that I've received advice about when like creating digital assets and stuff, is like, don't build on borrowed ground. So like if you're a content creator and you're like really investing heavy in one channel, it's like, make sure you save those videos or you cross post it on other channels, because nothing is preventing Facebook from one day just waking up and saying, I'm going to delete your account. Like they do it. They will say you violated community standards and just delete you. And it's like, people lose their livelihoods that are like dependent on specific platforms. So it's crazy. That was one of those, like, obviously didn't go anywhere. Obviously it wasn't a big thing, but geez, like, I paid for that service for months for them to host my podcast, and the second I stopped paying them, they're like, all right, we're done. Deleted all of it. That was wild.
Well, imagine if you're using a paid service like that, and like, say if you're a business, right, and you have a business account that you pay it out of, debit cards expire for businesses the same way that they do. And so if you're an LLC and you have a business account and you're paying your bills and stuff, and then you stop, because your card expires and you don't notice and you don't have like an office staff because you're not quite big enough for that, but you're making a little bit of money, you're gone. Like, I'm sure that they send you a reminder email or whatever, but if you just happen to like, if you get sick or go on vacation and don't look at your email for 2 weeks, poof, now your podcast is gone. So it's crazy.
I worked for a multi-million-dollar company, and our whole business was email. Like, all we did was email. And one day I got into work, I went to go log into our system, couldn't send an email. And I was like, what is going on? And our CMO had left the company 2 weeks prior, and he received an email into his inbox that basically said there was a report that we were doing malicious email activity. It was just like some false spam report, whatever thing.
Yeah.
And we never replied to the email, so they shut us down. And we were down for 48 hours, and that was like, it's what we do at our job is we email. And for 48 hours, it's like we couldn't send an email. And I was like, this is so bad. Like, we had just built too much on that one platform. And so that's what we diversified a little bit more after that. But yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
We'll have businesses have a lot of control and have a lot of data, a lot of information of embarrassing 2013 and clips of us just waiting to drop those bombs. Waiting for
sweat.
I wonder if that's what they do. They're just collecting everything and they're like, oh, can't wait for Aaron to run for president.
Once upon a time, there was I told you in the last episode, I spent a lot of time on the internet back when I first moved out of my parents' house. And there was this meme I saw on 4chan that, you know, like the urinals that have like the motion sensors that'll automatically flush or whatever. Someone would put on there like, what if that's actually a camera and the government is just taking pictures of all the penises in the U.S. and saving them up for whenever they need like...
I've had that thought. I'm like, is this a little camera?
Is
like,
this a camera?
I
It could be. Who knows? There's somebody at the Pentagon sorting terabytes and terabytes of just dick pics. And you come up and he tracks your location bases on your phone. And he's like, oh, here's Kelton Bruff. This is his third pee today. He's really drinking.
Oh my gosh. The thing that's the cringiest for me is, and I'm asking this as a question, did you go through this phase in middle school of lyrics? It would just like take song lyrics and post it. And it was always relevant to what I was going through as an emotional middle schooler. But why? No one in the world needed to see that, and they're always so angsty and so sad. And like, why did I do this?
I did not have a troubled childhood. I'm gonna throw this out here. I was fine. And like I used to think like, oh, my life's so hard and like I'm so sad all the time. And like there was times when I was depressed for sure, looking back at it, and like, but there's this one band, Troy Rebuild Until God Shows Drugs, right? Founded by the lead singer of Chiodos after he got kicked out for all of his stuff. So Craig Owens started this band as like a revenge thing. Their first album, fantastic. Immediately after the first album, they break up. They all go back to their respective bands. They just had a reunion album last year. It was okay. It wasn't all that good. I took what I didn't even realize was like the most suicidal lyric in that album, clipped 3 sentences of it and put it on my Facebook as a 17-year-old. And the amount of messages, which I am so grateful for everyone that was like reaching out and stuff. Like I got some good homies, but I didn't even realize what it was saying. I was just like, oh, I love this part of the song. Threw it out there and I got dozens of messages of like, dude, are you okay? Like if you need to talk, like I'm here. And I like go back and read it and I'm like, oh geez, he is fully talking about killing himself. And here I am, 16 years old, like, yes, kill myself on Facebook. And it's there forever.
Forever, dude. And mine was always like some emotional breakup I was going through and I had to throw on a Mayday Parade quote or something.
So I dug my key into the side of it.
Oh man, Carrie, dude, you're really going into it.
Yeah, that was...
Chiodos, I can never say the name of that band, but the only time I ever listened to them is when I was running, and it's just like they have just like that guitar.
They're the right
rhythm,
tempo, yeah.
And I'm just always just running to them. I love it.
How has your walking been? You still walking?
Been terrible this week.
Christopher Walken
already. Yeah, Christopher Walken. No, we got sick, and when you don't feel good, you just don't feel good, and so. We got sick, and so I didn't walk this week at all. But with that move thing, I got a good workout in, I feel like. But I'm going to get back on the horse this week. But, man, it's just that's what I think with all the resolutions and stuff that I want more than anything. Like, the goal isn't to walk. The goal isn't to read. It's like the goal is to finally be consistent in something. Like, I am not very consistent. Like, I have utmost respect for people who do stuff every day, like they don't miss, like they're really consistent at that, and I don't have it. I got to get it, got to make it somehow.
Yeah, I feel that for
How
sure.
your goals going? Been to the gym yet?
So bad. I've been to the gym twice this year. We're 36 days in, so I'm crushing it. I'm
Hey,
averaging one
all
every
right.
18 days. Reading, I'm behind. I still haven't finished Brief History of Time. I have my next book, and it's one I found on TikTok that I'm very excited for, but I have to finish this one first. And the problem is Stephen Hawking is just so above me mentally
Mm,
that like he breaks concepts down and it's like really understandable until it's not. And like
mm.
he just like I can do like 10 to 12 pages and then I'm like I got to stop for a little bit. And the problem is it's like a 260 page book. And so it's like it's taking a lot longer than I would like to get through it. I'm hoping that since my next one is fiction that I can just kind of burn through it real quick and be back on track, but we'll see.
Yeah. Dude, I hate when that happens when someone's like explaining something and you're like, follow along, follow along, follow along. And then like always like a point where they jump 10 phases and you're like, what happened in
Whoa.
this gap? What did I miss?
Quantum mechanics, you gotta chill. I
Yeah,
like
like I do
physics.
that all I do that all the time with YouTube videos. So like I'm like following along and I'm like clicking the buttons that they're telling me to click, and then all of a sudden it's like, how did you get to that screen? There was just like a complete jump. They just clipped it out and they're like, they'll have to figure out this dark space, and I hate that
You gotta
so
buy the
bad.
course for that.
Yes, yeah. People don't give stuff away for free, and it's frustrating.
Except us, because we're podcasters.
We will give you all the free, probably not true stuff that you'd ever need.
Yeah, don't even bother to fact check. Oh my, I was so hyped last week to tell you about the hottest temperature in the universe. Didn't even
Uh-huh.
consider that I was saying the wrong country 5 times. I said Germany so many times. The Hadron Collider is in Switzerland. It's at CERN. I went back and listened to it and I was like, Germany? No. And then I said it again and again and again. And I was like, stop talking about Germany. It's in Switzerland.
And
I know that.
I've told at least 5 people since that podcast about that. So they're just
Misinformation.
the spread of misinformation.
Fake
just
news is everywhere
expanded.
and we are actively contributing.
I can't wait to be retargeted with like a clickbait article. It's like, you'll never believe the hottest temperature in Germany.
The hottest temperature in Germany is like 100, maybe 98, whatever water boils at, 262.
18 trillion is what you told me last week.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
So
funny.
just don't even bother to fact check us. We're not physicists, okay? No matter how much I pretend that I am interested in that stuff, I'm not smart.
Do you feel like if you went, like if you could raise you a million times
I would
over,
be
like,
so smart. Oh, I'd be a
no,
genius.
but that's what I don't know. Like let's say you have a million tries to raise yourself, okay? And the goal of raising baby Aaron is to be Stephen Hawking's smart, okay? Do you think it's possible? Or do you think that your genetic disposition is like no amount of hard work is going to overcome the gap that would need to happen?
I don't think I could get there. He is so just above and beyond standard humans that I don't think there's people that are considered geniuses in their fields and they're just morons compared to him. And like I watch documentaries and stuff and like people will work on problems for years of calculations and writing on boards and just doing all this prep work and stuff, and they'll bring him into a room and he'll look at their chalkboard for 40 seconds and be like, "Oh, I see what you did here. Wow, that's very clever." And it's just like this is 5 years of this brilliant person's life. Like they're going to get the Nobel Prize in physics and you looked at their notes and was like, "Oh, I get it. You're right on. That's perfect." And it's just like I don't know that any amount of work could get you there, but
Yeah.
up there in that general range, sure. I think I could
Yeah.
make myself into something special if I had a million tries like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's disappointing. That's what I've been struggling with. I think more recently of like, what's the point of this? You know, it's like, wake up. Like, there's joy to be found. There's experiences to have and stuff. But like, and it's crazy to think that my life I feel like is set. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that are like, you can be 80 and change what you want to be and what you want to do. And I know it's all possible, but like in order for me with a family to make sure that they have food and stuff, my abilities, my talents and everything, I'm kind of where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
Like I know I'll continue to learn and all that type of stuff, but it's just like we treat the first 18 years as your formative years, and college add another 5 or so years. Then from there on out, it's kind of like there is a maximum earning potential, and that's the life you're going to have
Yeah.
type of
If you didn't
situation.
choose the right path or develop the right passion early enough, it's just like, I don't know. There's a lot that hard work can compensate for, and there's a lot that it can't. And so like you look at guys like LeBron James, for example, like all these amazing stories about like him getting into the NBA like directly out of high school, and like all these records that he's about to break the scoring record. Like it's going to happen this year. And it's going to be something that is just unbelievably crazy. And he absolutely has worked incredibly hard his entire life. But there's also the physicality of the fact that he was 18 and had developed enough that he could compete with on the NBA level. There's a genetics thing involved there. There's a thing that I wouldn't be able to have. Like there's no amount of like, even if I had worked exactly as hard as him from the moment I was born, I wouldn't have been that guy because there's a natural gap between us. So that is tough to grasp and like to realize, like, you know, you're not meant for greatness in everything. But I do believe that every person has something that they can become excellent in. And so like, I don't think we're necessarily capped at everything. We just have to find the thing that like really invigorates our desire to be the best, and then we can kind of take it from there.
Yeah, and I think that work ethic, like it can be developed. You can learn and stuff. It's like there, you have to acknowledge that what that strength's going to be, because amount of hard work is going to make me 6'8". Like you just, but there are, like you said, there's strengths that you could probably double down on. But I don't know. It's tough. It's tougher the later you get in life, and I know I'm still in the front half of everything, but I get why there are a lot of parents that push, and I get why there's a lot of parents that put a lot of their dreams and hopes inside their children, because they just look at their life and like, didn't do it for me, so I gotta start over with a new life and let them see. But it's a lot of pressure on young kids too. Like that's what's scary. I don't want, like, I'm gonna be such a chill parent. We already are such chill parents. Like we don't parent, I think, the way we should. Well, but I don't know. Like our kid's happy, and so that's like what we're okay with. But like, I wanted so badly as becoming a dad. Like I want a boy, and I'm gonna teach him to play football, and he's gonna be so smart. And like I wanted like all these things for him. And then we had Hudson, and I was just like, she is who she is, man. Like she's her own little person. She does what she wants to do, and I'm just gonna be there to like provide her opportunities when she wants the opportunities to grow. But I also have a hard time balancing that with like, Hudson does stuff all the time that I know is good for her that she doesn't want to do. She doesn't want to go to bed. She doesn't want to eat her food. You know, she like, there's all those things. And it's like, I push on those things so that she survives. But there's going to be a day soon when she will need push for passion. She'll need push for education. And like, what is the healthy level of like, oh, it's fine to drop out of elementary school versus no, you have to do your homework and you have to do it, you know, and it's a tough thing.
That's one of my big fears with having kids, and I think it's one of the things that has kept us from starting that for so long. Because like realistically, if you look at like the statistics of the United States, like we've been together basically 8 years now. We've been married for, this year will be 6. Like at this point, a lot of people like have kids or have decided that they're never having kids, and like we're not either of those. And so I think a big part of it is like, I look at my life and I am going to be 30 this year, and like I am not anywhere near where I assumed that I was going to be and where I want to be and like all this stuff. And so I same thing with you. I have like all these visions of what I would want to mold my kid's life to be. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to force my kids to live my dreams and to do that kind of stuff. And so it's like, I think a big part of that is like, we haven't mentally figured out the way that we want to balance ourselves in like, help them to find something that they are passionate about, even if it's not something that we understand, because, you know, it's their life. It's not me. And I think When you were talking, it brought to mind, there's a genre of anime that is just like number one in the world right now. Like everybody loves isekai anime. And the entire premise of it is you die and you get reborn in a new world, or you're summoned to a new world and you get to completely remake yourself with your current level of understanding and planning and vision and all this stuff. And so it's like, I think the idea of getting to start over is really appealing, because we all sort of look at ourselves and say like, there's so much that I should have accomplished by now and haven't. And we set all these excellent goals for ourselves and then we don't follow through. And it's kind of that until we die. And it's just setting goals and not reaching them. And I don't know.
No,
I get depressed
no,
thinking of like the vastness of space and the insignificance of my life and all the things that I've never accomplished. And there's a reason that I'm sucking down antidepressants every day.
and I don't know, because I'm in a bad state right now. Like I wish I was better to give advice. Like, but it's hard because it's like people who are feeding us the, hey, you can start over. You can, today's the day that you just go and you do the thing and stuff.
The Gary V's
like,
of the world.
the Gary V's. It's like the reason why those people exist is because they are the exception, not the rule. And if everyone was a Gary V and if everyone was a superhero, there would be no superheroes, right? Like it's like we idolize the concept of the people who escape problem that we're facing. And I think that everyone's facing this, and that's why we do escape into their anime realities of saying like story, like how would it be? Like we resonate with that and we're entertained by it. In actuality, like how do we escape it? So I don't know. I think the more that I've been struggling with this concept and like trying to work through my problems and stuff, it's just like I'm fearful of being mediocre, but I've also always been a very realistic person and realized that like I'm probably not going to be super exceptional. I'm probably not going to be any of that stuff, and okay with that, and just finding the joy of what this life is. Like what is my mediocre life and what brings me the happiness, and what can I be okay with. And it's hard to find sometimes. Like it's tricky, but I think that's kind of state. This is a super depressing podcast, but that's essentially the state that I'm searching for. Is how can I find any happiness in my mediocre life?
SSRIs are the key.
Hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us for the podcast today. This was the Roommates Couch. If you haven't yet, please download and subscribe to this podcast. We'd love to have you continue to listen to us each week and tell your friends. We're going to spread the word and try to grow this thing. Thanks, everybody.